Again, I did not want to make this video. My mind is off somewhere else. My body is asleep, but my heart is and always will be with Spider-Man. So even when Far From Home stabbed me in the back, kicked me in the teeth, and emotionally crippled me, I stayed hopeful. Hopeful that I could get to see my favorite superhero up on the big screen, fighting, hurting, empathizing like a real human being. And to me, Tom Holland's outing as the MCU's Spider-Man has been the exact opposite of that. Everything they've done, every creative choice they've made and liberty they've taken, I would have done the exact opposite. But who gives a shit what I have to say? Because I'm just one Spider-Man fan, and there are millions of fans out there who do love this Spider, who do empathize with this Peter, whose wonders and dreams are all being fulfilled while watching these Disney movies. And to be honest, I thought that I couldn't like No Way Home. I thought that I was done with the MCU movies. I thought that I'd become comfortably numb to their desaturated, overly comedic, childish cinematic universe that had grown past its use for me. But if I'm being honest, of course I liked some of this. Of course I liked Toby. Of course I liked Andrew. Of course I liked Spider-Man. I just want him to feel real. I just want to watch the film thinking, what if I was him? Not, what if that was me? Understanding the emotional complexities and nuances of being Spider-Man. Not just experiencing the spectacle of watching all three Spider-Man kick Sandman in the face. Look, I really did thoroughly enjoy a large portion of this movie. But before we can get to that, we have to get to this first. So without further ado, here are my problems with Spider-Man No Way Home. So yeah, me and Marvel weren't exactly on the best of terms coming out of 2019. I wasn't excited for and didn't plan on seeing any of their upcoming films, excluding Guardians 3. But now having seen the Suicide Squad and the trailers for the Peacemaker, I can say pretty confidently that my expectations have lowered drastically.
What the fuck?
You really aren't a bad guy.
Money plane.
But even with my disdain and disappointment towards Far From Home and for the MCU Spidey in general, there was nothing, and I mean nothing, that was gonna stop me from seeing No Way Home. Because no matter my personal gripes or grouses about the character, at the end of the day, it is Spider-Man. The character I adore, the character I identify with, the character I learned from. I will always see the new Spider-Man movie, not because I want to, but because I have to. I laughed 0 times while watching this movie. Wait, I don't know, actually maybe there was one. Andrew can always make me laugh. But like I said, if there is one thing that I think prevents me from enjoying Tom's Spider-Man movies, and most of Disney's MCU movies in general, it would be the oversaturated, childish, immature, obvious, eye-rolling, on-the-nose humor that I have come to genuinely despise. Every time there's some form of emotional poignancy and dramatic weight, it's undercut by a joke about fucking beef. The well, that just happened humor is my least favorite kind of joke in cinema, and the MCU seems to have trademarked it. Now don't take this as me saying that I don't enjoy or appreciate comedy or humor in movies. I find the Raimi and Webb movies to be genuinely hysterical for 70% of the time. But the things that I come back for, the things that make me treasure this character, the things that make me want to watch and analyze Spider-Man, it isn't the humor, it's the heart. The internal conflict, the burning turmoil, the endless burden of being an unwanted hero in a city that needs you. That is Spider-Man, not this.
Hey! Until you stop trying to kill me, I'm in control, buddy, of this whole tentacle situation you got going on here.
Alright, let me tell you all a story. It was the night of December 16th. I had just gotten out of my bio lecture final, for which I absolutely nailed. I had just bought the hardcover version of Pride and Prejudice at my local Barnes & Noble, and I was on my way to see the ultimate multiversal Spider-Man movie, for which I knew absolutely nothing about. I was aware of the leaks, but I had not read a single review or thought piece from the film. Despite what you might think, I wanted to be as open-minded about the film as possible. My friends and I stopped in at my local and I chomped down on a bean burrito as the Chargers tragically fell to the Chiefs, to all of our dismay.
There are 2 syllables for hot. Just and tin. Man, that guy is just so hot I could kiss him. Because he's a good teammate. Oh, why'd I say that?
But it's okay now.
After wandering around Walmart for about an hour, it was time for the movie to start. I took my seat, sat down, closed my eyes, and prepared for what was about to come. 148 minutes later, I get up out of my seats and leave the theater with my 2 friends. The one in the back says it's a 10 out of 10 and his favorite Spider-Man movie ever, while me and the other friend blast Kanye and spend the entire ride home roasting the shit out of it, ultimately concluding that it is a 6 out of 10. Content and satisfied with our discussion, I return home and check my phone to discover quite the stream of messages in my inbox. This is an actual message sent to my group chat from the friend I saw the movie with in the middle of the movie. Bro, I'm fucking dying. They make a joke and everybody's laughing. I look over and Dylan's shaking his head with his hands on his face. LMAO. Dylan and me are the same. Same.
No, not exactly.
I want to preface this by saying that I actually really did enjoy the opening of this film. Not the dumb Peter Parker reveal they did, which felt more like a joke, but the spinning wonder they used when Peter entered his apartment with Zendaya.
To rehash it if you want to, but just don't.
No, you take her, you're mine.
Get off your phone for like 5 minutes. I just want to talk to you about your relationship, okay?
I thought it was a really creative use of direction and situational blocking that added a lot of life and chaos to the opening.
Peter?
I just wish there was more use of those creative and innovative shots throughout the rest of the film. However, most of my praises for the rest of the movie sadly end there. To be honest, Peter's selfish side quests of capturing all the multiversal villains as a side effect of him just wanting to get into MIT with his friends felt so weird, lazy, and rushed. I really think that the script could have gone through another rewrite, or 5. But once again, Marvel jumps into production without a completed or definitive script, jumping from one action set piece to another without a clear or decisive vision. And I think all of these issues and all of these faults really come to fruition at the infamous bridge scene, where we are first reintroduced to the return of Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. When I was first watching the Doc Ock Iron Spider fight, my first thought was, hell yeah, fuck Tom Spider-Man, I never want to see that shit again. And then we got to the end of the scene, with the Stark Tech taking over Doc's tentacles, leading to Octavius being defeated, which was then followed by many jokes I did not laugh at.
Hey, you. I see you. Come here. That was not okay. Unbelievable.
And my thought process changed to, yeah, fuck Tom Spider-Man. I never want to see this again. After a battle so driven by consequences and grounded human stakes, it feels like such a cop-out to have Tom Spider-Man win because of his suit once again, after getting his ass kicked on his own. Peter's access to technology and a Stark suit has been at the roots of my disdain towards his character for 5 movies now. Peter shouldn't have a suit that can listen to criminals from far away. He shouldn't have a suit that's entirely bulletproof, a suit that can instantly kill everyone around him, a suit that dispenses all of his webs for him, a suit that protects him at every corner from hits and damage that should kill him, a suit that he didn't make, a suit that doesn't need Peter, a suit that takes the Peter Parker out of Spider-Man. Why are we 6 films in and Peter is just now learning that he needs to be Spider-Man on his own? Why do we have a Spider-Man that is constantly rewarded and let off for his mistakes by whatever the plot can convene? Oh, Peter's fighting the most powerful wizard in the galaxy? Fuck it, he knows trigonometry. Generally in writing there's these things called setups and payoffs, but in these films, they just trust you to know the assigned skill sets of every character and how they'll affect the plots. Ned makes a joke about being a wizard in the first act, and by the third he's an integral and essential part of the narrative that helps save the day. Thank God they had Ned there to portal them to the Statue of Liberty, because if you didn't know,
That is a fucking island!
Speaking of which, oh, we need all 3 Spider-Man to meet and join forces on screen? Fuck it, let's have Ned open a portal and ask for Spider-Man. That should work. Why should we care about what Peter's going through if he doesn't even have to figure out his problems for himself? And before you say that team-up films are all about other people helping each other, I'm not talking about the other Spider-Man helping each other. I'm talking about side characters who hold no significance or real relevance aside from poorly timed comedic relief and plot convenience. It's more emotionally powerful when we have a character who's left alone, who's truly lost everything. Someone who feels like they have no one to support them, no friends to go to, no family to have their backs, no one in their life but them. Someone who feels like they have absolutely nothing. Like, they could have played into Peter's guilt over his friends not getting into college because of him, making him feel alienated and isolated. Even if it's not true, just that feeling would draw so much more emotional impact when he goes off to be alone. I mean, fuck. I didn't want to do this, but I guess I have to. You know what was one of the most brilliant and subtle things that Raimi did in the original trilogy?
Hey.
What's up?
What are you watching?
Spider-Man.
No, it's not Spider-Man. It's like, what is it? Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah, Spider-Man, Far From Home.
The one with Tom Holland, where he like jumps out of a bus and he webs up a drone, and that's considered funny.
Well, they're better than Andrews.
Better than Andrews?
Yeah.
What are you, a fucking asshole?
The side characters, the ensemble, every character, every person, every living being that ever graced the glorious Raimi-infused screen was drenched in personality, character, and authenticity. Spider-Man 1 isn't just about Peter discovering the responsibilities and hampers of being Spider-Man through his unchosen father. It's about his best friend searching for acceptance and validation from the overachieving father who was never there for him. It was about his childhood crush looking to be seen and loved by everyone because of the love and validation she never received from home. Every character is tied to this theme of fatherhood, acceptance, and responsibility. In No Way Home, what does Ned want? What does Michelle want? Better yet, what does any character want that doesn't revolve around the plot? If every character wants the same thing and there's no difference or experience of adversity between them, then they aren't uniquely personal or distinct characters. Sure, Ned and Michelle want to go to MIT together, but didn't she call him a loser in the first film? Didn't they share only one scene together in Far From Home? Why does it mean so much to them to get into the same college? What does it mean if they don't go together? What is it that they actually want in life? If they focused on that in the first half of the film instead of the poorly constructed jokes and poorly designed CGI renders of rehashed 2000 villains, then maybe I would have liked this film a lot more. So I talked about Ned, I talked about the magic, I briefly gave my thoughts on Stark technology. So now I will just briefly lose my sanity in an unhinged, unedited rant where I list the things that just made me unnecessarily angry in the theaters. Okay. Why the fuck did they have a fake out death for May only to bring her back, only to kill her right after she can deliver one sentence of fan service for the audience? Why the fuck should I care that May died in this film given that the last time she and Peter had an honest and heartfelt conversation was 4 years ago and 6 years ago canonically? We're supposed to care about the relationship because we're supposed to assume the emotional weight and significance it holds, but because we don't see it, we don't care. If they had killed Toby's Aunt May, I would have cried. If they had killed Andrew's Aunt May, I would have cried. But you killed Tom's Aunt May, and I felt nothing. If they had killed her in Homecoming, I probably would have cared a little bit because they had spent the film demonstrating their turbulent but loving relationship. In this film, I guess she wants to help Norman because he's scared and likes donuts. God, Disney cannot commit to anything serious for more than 15 minutes. And then to cap things off with another one of Disney's little humdingers, they psych out the audience with a Toby fake out death. But there is another thing. Another big thing. A thing that I wasn't just angry about in the theaters, but angry about on the drive home. Angry about when I was in my bed, when I was in my thoughts, and in my head. Yes. Lastly, the thing that I want to talk about is, what the fuck was the point of putting Charlie Cox's Daredevil in this film? Literally the fucking weirdest cameo/appearance in a movie I have ever seen. He serves no role in the plot or the story and never even comes back. He comes in unannounced and leaves unannounced. Alright, now that I've gotten all that off my chest, all that out of my system, I'd like to sit down, take a drink, and just level with all of you as a huge and uncompromising Spider-Man fan. So, of course, I was happy to see Toby. Of course, I was jovial to see Andrew. Of course, I was overflowing with serotonin when Charlie Cox strutted on the screen for only 60 seconds. Of course, my dopamine levels skyrocketed as I got to see my two favorite heroes, played by two of my favorite actors, bicker and bounce off one another for the first time. And I really did enjoy the last 35 minutes of this movie for the most part. I love how they didn't change anything drastic for Toby or Andrew's Peter. Each of their characters' personalities feels like a natural progression from when we last saw them. Toby's Peter isn't a jolly, sagacious hero that people can always look up to. He's a guilt-ridden, emotionally conflicted human who is haunted by the mistakes and deaths in his past. That's why Spider-Man 3 doesn't end on a cheerful note, but more on a bitterly sweet reconciliation between two people who have loved and hurt each other so much. Andrews is a young, angry, tragic Spider-Man who's always had a chip on his shoulder. Someone who never knew where he came from or why his parents abandoned him. Someone that just wants love but is constantly faced with tragedy from the ones that he loves. And now, given the second opportunity, he wants to do everything he can to stop what happened to him from happening to his little brother. Even if that means saving the love of his brother's life when he couldn't save his own. So I can look past the faults, the immature comedy, the incessant connections to the broader MCU, the convenient magic, the god-awful Stark tech, the absolute refusal to have any real emotional stakes or flawed characters in a storytelling medium designed for them. All of it. Because if it means that I can see Toby vulnerably open up about his sorrowful regrets, and see Andrew not only cry but awkwardly fumble around and jitter back and forth as he tries to fit in and finally catch a break, then fine. I like Spider-Man No Way Home. And what I really like is the ending, because no longer is Spider-Man an Avenger in $1 billion suits in a world that doesn't need him, that doesn't need a friendly neighborhood hero. Now he's just Peter Parker, a man that doesn't exist, a man who must become Spider-Man to exist,